What's good, Internet? My name is Attack Slug, and welcome back to SmackDown vs. Raw 2010, the road to WrestleMania. 2 days until that grandest stage with John Cena, Triple H, and The Big Show. Today, a gauntlet match. Miz Morrison and Mike Knox in as fast as possible, back to back to back to back. Back to back. And so, I welcome you to a fine Wednesday here on the program. Obviously, SmackDown last night, the last show in the 4 nights of shows in the Big Easy. WrestleMania weekend and then some, as they say. So that kind of wraps that whole thing up. And the crowds, honestly, as much as they said, oh, non-traditional, they kind of did mostly what you would have expected them to do. There wasn't anything that was too far out of left field. But obviously, as I said yesterday, they only give that speech because people boo Roman Reigns. But I did enjoy, during Elias on Raw, the crowd chanting, "We are scumbags." That was pretty good. They were on top of things with that stuff. And big old Mike Knox. Creepy. Now, in terms of your news, before I get into the SmackDown discussion, and there is some to have there, we have another match announced for the greatest Royal Rumble, because, you know, there already weren't enough. And that is Rusev, who you would have thought would have been in the Rumble itself. No, he's getting an actual match on that show. A non-title match on that show, considering we already have 7 title matches, plus Cena and Triple H, plus the Rumble. This is another match to get added, and it's Rusev versus The Undertaker, who also, you would have assumed, would have been in that Rumble to kind of, you know, make his actual in-ring time shorter, because it's a Rumble. You don't have to be in there for a half an hour. You can be in there for, like, you know, 5-10 minutes, and then somebody important can throw you out, and that, you know, is that. But no, he's fighting Taker, and not only is he fighting Taker, he's fighting Taker in a casket match. So, Undertaker, Rusev, casket match, Saudi Arabia. And I'm like, as if you weren't already figuratively burying the man. Now you're gonna literally, I mean, okay, it's not a buried alive match, so you aren't literally burying him alive. But a casket match is pretty close. Like, it's one thing that they trust Rusev enough to get in the ring with someone like Taker, who's clearly not in the best of shape, or, you know, had a hip something with his hip. So, you know, they trust him to be in that spot, and obviously not further injure a legend. But at the same time, you're putting Rusev in a casket match? Really? Really? Are you going to do anything with the fact that people are just going bonkers for him and chanting Rusev Day at, you know, both inappropriate and appropriate times, which is all the time, because every day is Rusev Day? Like, it's one thing to have him in that Fatal 4-Way and have him eat the pinfall. Like, alright, sure, fine. But, I don't know, that whole thing was just like, what are you doing? What are you doing? So yes, another confirmed match for the greatest Royal Rumble. I wonder if it'll be any longer or shorter than the match for WrestleMania with Cena, which was like 2.5 minutes or something like that. Can I hit Mike? I hate you, Mike Knox. I hate you. I'm already gone on for too long here because he won't stay down, and I can't actually hit a signature. And this is the first of 3 matches. Finally, Mike Knox can have him some 5-knuckle shuffle, and then can get up and get hit with the attitude adjustment. Hopefully he doesn't actually get out of it. Would be nice. There we go. And hopefully it only takes 1 to put away the big bearded Mike Knox. 1, a 2, a 3. But we still have Miz and Morrison. Hey, Miz. Now then. Going on to SmackDown. We have a new general manager because Daniel Bryan has returned to in-ring competition. That's great. And that is Paige. Which, sure, fine. Like, that is a good use for Paige. To keep her on TV for however much longer her contract is, and to contribute to the business, etc., etc. And they continue the run of having a face GM on SmackDown. That's fine. That works. But having now watched all of Raw, and watched all of SmackDown, and all of the debuts, and returns, and that kind of stuff, SmackDown got shafted, pretty much. Think about all the returns and all of the new faces on Raw, and granted, Raw is a 3-hour show, Raw is a longer show, I get it. But you really can't count Paige as a return because she was just on Raw, retiring literally the night before. Literally. So that to me, she's been on TV every week anyway with Absolution. That's not a return. That's not fresh. She's in a different role, but that's not a fresh return, right? So that was one thing, right? So literally, SmackDown got the Iconic duo, who are now the Iconics for I'm assuming trademark reasons. And that was your one call up from NXT to SmackDown. Unless I missed a thing here, I'm pretty sure that was the only thing. Was those two. And granted, it's two. But when you consider Raw had Ember Moon, No Way Jose, Authors of Pain, Bobby Lashley, the return of Jeff Hardy, Samoa Joe, like, Raw was stacked. It was like almost every segment was like, alright, here's something new and something fresh. And granted, SmackDown does get the return of Daniel Bryan as an in-ring competitor. That is a fresh return. That is a big name. That is a big deal. But you only got one NXT call-up and Raw gets like 3? That's insane to me. And one guy who hasn't been there in 10 years. You know? So, I don't know. That to me felt a little bit one-sided. But at the same time, next week is the Superstar Shakeup. So, kind of, you could argue it doesn't really matter because even people who debuted and got called up this week might be on a different show next week because Superstar Shakeup. So, I don't know. And there we go. Oh, pulling the Nakamura there. Anyway. Also on SmackDown that was weird is that apparently Paige as the GM does not believe in the mandatory rematch when you lose a title. You have to fight for it. So the New Day and the Usos, because the Usos were the tag team champions and then lost them at Mania, don't get their automatic rematch. They had to fight the New Day and then won, and they're getting that rematch. And then Randy Orton, who was the U.S. champion and lost at Mania, did not get an automatic rematch. He had to fight in a triple threat versus Rusev and Bobby Roode, and then won, and then he's like, at that point, they're just filling time. Like, all right, we have content to fill. We gotta have matches here because we don't have a bunch of new faces, a bunch of new debuts. So build time with matches that get you to the same result anyway. Like what was the point of having those matches if you ended up with the same result? You're just filling time. Referee, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. That's what you get for taking so long to cash in the Money in the Bank briefcase. So yes, that is the other thing. There is that with the debut of the Iconics, we have the fact that they beat up the women's champion Charlotte, and then out comes Carmella to finally, as the longest reigning Money in the Bank holder ever, cash in, and as the first Miss Money in the Bank was successful. So that's cool. New champion, Carmella. Finally. And a lot of folks had been concerned that, well, we all assumed that Asuka was going to win at Mania. So it was like, alright, she wins, and then how does that make that thing viable? Because she can't cash in because Asuka. But if Asuka loses, then obviously all bets are off.
John Cena should be off
7:37.
for running the gauntlet like that. I bet he's not too proud. After all, he didn't beat Triple H's time. The game is still in the lead. We'll see if Big Show can top Triple H's score. Coming up next.
Watch Big Show do it in like a minute and a half.
Kennedy shows second opponent going for the mic check early.
Boom. WMD. 3 count.
Oh, man. And like nothing, Show takes out a second opponent.
Where's the clock? Where's the... Oh, no. The Brian Kendrick. Man with a plan.
Was that Kendrick?
3 seconds.
As if it needs to be said.
He didn't beat... Wait, no. I thought... Alright, yeah. Triple H was 3.5 minutes. So...
It's a good thing, too, because we're out of time. Don't miss WrestleMania, where Big Show takes this huge
he gets to pick the stiff, right?
advantage into the biggest match in WWE history.
So again, like, I don't think there's a way to actually beat 3 guys in under 3 minutes and 10 seconds in this game. Even as John Cena, even as, you know, the face who runs the place. I just don't think it's possible. I can't shovel him fast enough. It's not gonna happen. Anyway, WrestleMania time. Mania time.
This is it, ladies and gentlemen. This is WrestleMania, the showcase of the Immortals. This is Jim Ross and Taz coming to you live from Houston, Texas.
Three of the most talented, most dynamic superstars in WWE history will compete tonight for the honor of being the champion of champions.
The build-up to this match has been like no other. Let's look back at this road to WrestleMania. Mr. McMahon came up with this champion of champions idea months ago when he declared he wanted Raw's and SmackDown's title holders to compete. Triple H and John Cena remain champions, but Big Show demanded a trade to ECW and earned himself a spot. A series of challenges awaited the trio, with the winner getting to pick the stipulation behind the Champion of Champions Iron Man match.
Oh boy.
Which happens in our main event tonight. Who will prevail and become the Champion of Champions in the most important WrestleMania match of all time?
Of all time, you guys. Of all time.
John, you're the right guy to represent Raw in the Champion of Champions match. You're talented, you're tough, and there's nobody more determined. So go out there and win that match.
Thanks, Batista, I guess. Iron Man match, falls count anywhere, most decisions in the match. Let's get it underway, shall we? With some pyro. So it's interesting because the rumor that we had heard for a bit leading up to Mania was that the plan was to keep Ronda Rousey and Asuka separate because they wanted to build to Asuka and Rousey at next year's WrestleMania and undefeated versus undefeated, which would have been a great and amazing build-up, but no longer the case. So now what they're saying is they want to build to Ronda Rousey and Charlotte for next year's WrestleMania, which, sure, I'm sure that will be fine. I'm sure. 20 minutes, really? I'm going to cut most of the match out. I'm going to get myself finish talking here about SmackDown and then cut most of the match out. That's 20 minutes. I've already been sitting here for about 20. So, you know, there's that. So yeah, like, that's not a bad decision, but the fact that you had to sacrifice the streak just because you want to get to Charlotte and Rousey is a little bit dubious. I don't know. I think streak versus streak is way more interesting to me, but what do I know? Anyway, well, and they could have had something like a streak versus streak if they had kept the Charlotte pay-per-view streak going and not ended that early, unfortunately. So there was that bit of business. I think last year was that thing. I lost the finisher. Lame. So there was one more return, and it was on 205 Live of Kendrick. So at least they got their own little, hey, we got somebody else. It's Kendrick. He's back from that. It was Tommy who messed up his like orbital socket or whatever with the go to sleep. So there's that. But otherwise, solid steel chair to the back. Otherwise, I think the only person that we know of who is cleared to compete, oh, come on, is Big Cass. And there was no sign of Big Cass on either Raw or SmackDown. So I guess we'll see if that plays out in any real way after the shakeup, or during the shakeup, or perhaps at the Greatest Royal Rumble. Now, what's interesting is that not only did we have a case of, all right, these guys are having to fight for their shots, to get their shots on the belts that they lost with, you know, the U.S. and the tag titles. But also, if you noticed, Miz wanted his rematch, right? And he's going to get his mandatory rematch at the Greatest Royal Rumble. You know, the next big pay-per-view thing, right? Meanwhile, Randy Orton won his match to get his rematch for the U.S. title, but that's not until Backlash. Which to me says, okay, Randy Orton is going to go to Backlash and not go overseas. Like, he's like, I'm not flying over there. And I could be wrong, but that being said, they've already announced that there are going to be 7 titles being defended, the U.S. title being one of them. Therefore, who is Jinder actually going to fight for that belt at the Greatest Royal Rumble? Because it's not going to be Randy, because he's fighting Randy at Backlash. So, that's weird. Also, I wanted to pin the game. I wanted to pin the game. 1, 2. Oh, this is where it's going to go, right? This is where it's going to go, where, like, no one's going to get a pinfall because triple threat, and they're going to keep on breaking it up over and over again. So I got to hit, literally, I got to hit one guy, signature, other guy, finisher. Is how this is going to go, because otherwise, we're never going to get a freaking pinfall. So, you know, I'm going to go get me some more solid steel chairs. So yeah, again, with this stuff with the roster is Superstar Shakeup next week. It kind of might not matter at all. At all. Not cool, man. Not cool. I'm just trying to do my 5 a knuckle a shuffle. Alright, so we're going to do this 5 knuckle shuffle, then face the Big Show, then hit the attitude adjustment. Big Show's like, huh, what? I'm blocking you. Oh my, no, hit the, oh my god, come on. Really? Stop, the worst. The absolute worst. And now it's not going to matter, because Triple H is going to be here to break it up, and that's going to be a problem. So, again, they're totally, yes. Leave, Triple H, leave. Ref count. 1, 2. I was so close. 2. Cena gets 1. I snuck into it. That's 2 for Cena. That's 2. You guys got nothing. 0. 10 minutes to go. It's funny that falls count anywhere, but there's still rope break when you're in the ring. Like, that doesn't make any sense. Whatever. 1, 2, 3. That's 3 up for Cena. You can't 3 me. Attitude adjustment on the entrance ramp. That's solid steel. Gonna go for 4. We got 4. There's no way in a minute they would get 4. So I can kind of, at this point, relax more or less. And just kind of keep spamming the same moves, because whatever. I got a minute left. Oh, referee. Referee getting bumped. Now nobody can count. It's a brilliant strategy. If there's no ref, who's going to count this pinfall? Nobody. In 14. Yeah, Big Show. Keep on hitting that. Hit that choke slam, Big Show. Hit that pinfall, Triple H. Hit that pedigree. It's not going to matter. 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, here we go.
It's been a long, hard road to WrestleMania for these 3 champions. Wills were tested. Bodies were battered. But we finally have a clear-cut winner.
I can't see him.
But first, let us show respect to the loser of this match.
No.
In third place with... Wait a second. He doesn't deserve respect. He's
That's so
a
Vince.
loser.
That's so Vince.
John Cena, World Heavyweight Champion. I've learned a long time ago to stop standing in your way. Because you'll charge through anything that's between you and your goals. I'm not a big fan of your lack of maturity. You've once again shown that heart and determination can move mountains.
Here's your belt. Get out of here.
John Cena, on behalf of World Wrestling Entertainment, I acknowledge you as the champion of champions.
So what does that actually do, though? Anything?
Thanks, Vince. These 2 guys gave me the fight of my life. It feels good to win such an important match on such a historic night. Say what you want about Vince McMahon, The guy's got good taste. This title is a great replacement for the one some big moron destroyed.
Yeah, you moron.
But in closing, I want to say that if anyone doesn't think I deserve to be champion of champions, if anyone wants to step up and challenge me, if you want some, come get some.
Mic drop. Triple H is so salty. He's so salty. Dude, I'm gonna run this company. Screw you, Cena. I'm going after the bigger prize. I married the boss's daughter. I'm gonna run this whole show. Screw you. Don't stand next to the pyro. That's dangerous. That's super dangerous. Don't stand close to the pyro. What are you doing? Anyway, there is one more. Bonus unlock. Champions Champion belt. The undisputed. You deserve a belt to prove it. It is now unlocked. Defend it with pride. Which means that tomorrow we have the Randy Orton, the Viper, the Legend Killer, and then after that, Mickey James, after that, the Attack Slug. So we're not quite done yet with this game. Thanks for watching. More videos every day. I'll see you next time right here on this channel, and I'm out.